All right, well, we better get started. I know it's the beginning of a long weekend. Well, at least for me it is. I'm very lucky. And first off, I just really want to take the opportunity to thank all of you for being here. On the behalf of Judge Ortiz, Judge Morrison, and all of the judges you see here from Lake County, we're glad you could be here to celebrate with the entire circuit Adoption Awareness Month. As I'm sure most of you know, November is Adoption Awareness Month, which originally started as National Adoption Week in 1990. It's now a month-long celebration emphasizing the importance of adoption, especially for those children in foster care. Unfortunately, many of the cases heard here in juvenile court deal with dysfunctional families and, as most of you know, very tragic situations for both the minors and their parents. But here we have Adoption Day once a month, and it's wonderful. And that really is our happiest day here at the complex, to see the children all smiling, many of whom have been through just terrible abuse and neglect situations, with smiles on their faces, as long as I don't try and shake their hand and scare them, smiles on their faces as they become part of their forever family. It's a very heartwarming experience. And I know there's not a lot of us here today, unfortunately, again, for the holidays, but we really want you to know how much we appreciate the hard work that each of you contribute to the adoption process. And again, we thank you very much for being here as part of this happy experience. And now I'd like to take the opportunity to introduce Chief Judge Ortiz for a few words.
Thank you very much, Judge Sikowski, and good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the 19th Judicial Circuit, I'd like to thank you and welcome you to our Adoption Awareness Program. And today we're honoring the Guardians Ad Litem from both the private bar and the Lake County Public Defender's Office, who serve the best interests of minors during the adoption process. We're also, of course, honoring Juvenile Probation Services and CASA Lake County. And I'd like to just take a moment to formally introduce the judges who are here. And so we have two former chief judges here, Judge Jim Boris, Judge Margaret Mullen, who once served in juvenile court. We have Judge Tom Shippers, who's here. Judge Michael Bitar. Of course, Judge Chris Morrison, who serves in juvenile court presently. I think those are all of the judges who are here today. And adoptions are usually the happiest occasions in a courthouse, as Judge Sikowski said, and this was certainly the case for me during the years that I presided over adoption matters. The expressions of joy of the children and families when I would say you are now officially a family is something I'll never forget. The look of love of parents adopting a baby are forever etched in my memory. Each child wants and deserves a loving family and home, and this is made possible here in Lake County through the work of our Guardians Ad Litem. These Guardians Ad Litem serve as the eyes and ears of the court and are charged with making the ultimate recommendation as to whether adoption is in the best interest of the child. On behalf of the entire 19th Judicial Circuit, I thank our Guardians Ad Litem for their service to adopting families in Lake County and our court. Let's give them a warm round of applause. Of course, the adoptions would not be possible without juvenile probation services. The background investigations and verifications these officers conduct in non-related adoptions or as otherwise ordered by the court are a critical component of the work we do here and help us ensure that adoption is appropriate. On behalf of the 19th Judicial Circuit, I thank Juvenile Probation Services for their service to adopting families in our court. So let's give them a warm round of applause. Children are our most precious resource. It is our moral as well as legal imperative to protect them. Sadly, there are children in our community who are abused and neglected. Fortunately, however, we have CASA Lake County here to serve these most vulnerable children. CASA volunteers advocate for the best interests of these abused and neglected children, dedicated to the premise that each child is entitled to a safe and permanent home. We have approximately 252 CASA volunteers in Lake County. They are an integral partner in our juvenile justice system. We are grateful for their service and for their partnership with us. Let's give them a warm round of applause. Speaking of our juvenile justice system, you may recall that the John Howard Association, which has been in existence for over 100 years and is a prison and detention home watchdog organization, issued a glowing report last year hailing Lake County as a model for juvenile courts, probation departments, and detention centers statewide. This is due to the professionalism and dedication of everyone involved in our juvenile justice system and to their commitment to serving our children. And this includes our judges, probation and detention services, GALs, CASA, the state's attorney's office, the Lake County Public Defender's office, the sheriff's office, and all of our community partners and stakeholders. And so I thank each of them for their service, and I also thank each and every one of you for your support. I also wish each of you and your family a safe and happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge Ortiz, for those wonderful and inspiring words. And now it's the time you're all waiting for, the recognition. And Judge Ortiz has said many of the same things that I want to say or am going to say, but we really are sincere when we thank you for the work that you're doing here with the juvenile court. And first we want to recognize the private guardian ad litems who essentially volunteer their time. While we know there's a small fee for their work and their contributions, what they do as far as the adoption process far exceeds any amount of payment that they receive. They often appear in court, as you know, and I see many familiar faces, on multiple occasions. Many GALs go above and beyond their regular GAL duties, even to the point of preparing documents for pro se litigants so that the cases can move forward. Your assistance in these matters ensure the court is able to proceed with an adoption in a timely manner, and I wish to thank you for your service. I know there are several private guardian ad litems that were unable to be here today, but I'm going to call the name of each guardian ad litem so that we can recognize them that are on our guardian ad litem list for adoptions. And I'm asking, as I call your name, if you please come up and then remain up here for a group photo that we're going to take of everyone. And again, thank you for your service. Ricky Ahmet, Howard Bernstein, Raymond Bolt, Lucy Dornfeld, come on up. Yes. And would you remain up here? Would you mind? Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Absolutely. Tom Gerwitz, Laura Horner, Sally Lichter, June Peterson Gleason, Carrie Schreiber. I think. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you. Dave Semmelman, Doug Stiles. Thank you. Yolanda Torres, Sarah Conwool, Mark Peavy. Thank you, Mark. I'm retaking appointments. Here. Thank you. And Alan Schuster. Big round of applause, please, for our private GALs. Thank you. Thank you.
You would be the first.
And next we honor the Public Defender Guardian Ad Litems, Ms. Kathy Gordon and Ms. Kathleen McGee. These ladies represent minors in DCFS abuse and neglect cases, from the temporary custody hearing through the termination petition and finally the adoption. These very difficult cases are often open for years before an adoption is finalized. The GALs develop a very special relationship with their clients and the foster families. It's great to see everyone together as the judgment is signed, and we like to acknowledge the tireless work of the public defender GALs that work in the best interest of the minors. The GALs and the families are all smiles as the adoption judgment is signed, and each adoptee receives a gift from the GAL, and that really is a special moment. Ms. Gordon, will you please step up? And if you'd stay up here also for the photo op. And then Ms. McGee, please. Thanks. Thank you. Stay for the photo op. Don't run. A big round of applause. As most of you know, if not all of you, our court-appointed Special Advocate CASA program is an all-volunteer program dedicated to assisting the court in its decision-making process as determinations are made about the future of an abused or neglected child. This program was started here approximately 20 years ago by our very own Judge Mullen. Thank you, Judge Mullen. And currently, the Lake County CASA program is recognized throughout the state and the county and the country as one of the premier CASA programs. A CASA volunteer follows an abuse and neglect case from beginning to end, and as I've already indicated, these cases can last for years and can be very, very difficult. There's no sweeter ending than seeing a child finally safe in the arms of an adoptive family. It's amazing to see all of the CASA volunteers who attend the adoption ceremony, and it's wonderful to witness the close relationships the CASAs have developed with the children and their adoptive family. I know Terry Greenberg was unable to be here today. She's the executive director, but I would like all of the members of the CASA program that are here today to come on up and accept the plaque and stay for a photo, please.
Thank you.
Who wants to hold it? Thanks for everything, you guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And finally, today we honor our Juvenile Probation Department investigator, Ms. Sia Voris. Sia prepares the investigative reports for non-relative and non-DCFS placements. Her reports are always very thorough and very informative, giving the court the full picture of the adoptive family dynamics and their ability to provide a safe and nurturing environment for the child or children they wish to adopt. The reports are time-consuming to prepare, but she always prepares them, at least it seems like to me, with a smile on her face. Thank you, Ms. Boris, for your service, and I'd ask Judge Boris to please present the certificate. Come on up. Get in? Okay. Thanks. The judges of the 19th Judicial Circuit want to again express their gratitude to each and every one of you for your dedication to the children and the families of Lake County. Thank you for being here today, and as Judge Ortiz says, we wish all of you a wonderful, happy, safe Thanksgiving holiday with your family and friends, and we hope that you'll stick around and take a handful of cookies to start your calories counting here today, or lack of counting, I should say. So thank you again very much.